just framing, also, it's how you're presenting an idea to somebody, because the same way you present it to one person may not be the same way you present it to somebody else. Correct? I mean,
Well, and then that kind of becomes a definition of empathy.
yeah,
Because if you want to frame everything the same way, then what you're doing is you're being a little tyrannical.
right.
You want your way to work with all of them. That's where cross-cultural negotiations get into trouble. Americans go like, cross-cultural negotiations, what do I got to do when I'm in the Middle East? I got to make sure that I don't show them the bottoms of my feet, and then I only shake with my right hand and I sip tea with them. Well, you're looking for the little things that you can do to make it look like you understand it, but you still want to be yourself,
Right.
whatever that self is.
Right.
So as soon as you start focusing on the other person's perspective and demonstrating an understanding of them, then there is some adjustment, not just for culture, but for people. Understand human nature and then understand the human in front of you. Every one of us were born a blank slate. You take any child anywhere, born in China, born in Africa, born in Latin America, they're going to be a product of their geographical surrounding. You take an Asian, you grow them up in the South Bronx in New York City, you got the same character,
Yeah.
no matter what the person's ethnicity is.
Yeah.
So we're all born a blank slate. We got the same basic wiring, and there's evidence of it everywhere. Like Facebook succeeds in every country on earth because everybody wants dopamine.
Right.
Everybody gets delighted the same way. Everybody reacts the same way. The social media, the only countries that social media is not a force in are those that ban it.
Right.
So that tells you that we're all wired the same way. So if if that's your starting point, now you begin to adjust to the person in front of you, then yeah, your pitch is going to change because you're going to tailor it to who they are.
So my takeaway so far is, as we're entering into any negotiation, let's all admit and accept the fact that we have cognitive bias. So we have to be aware of that. And then depending on who you're negotiating with and talking to, you've got to have empathy for that person. You have to frame your conversation and your questions in such a way that will connect with them, and we have to know who we're talking to. You
And let me
go ahead,
let me add a step in there too,
please.
because a lot of people say empathy is understanding where the other person is coming from. That's essential and inadequate.
Okay.
You have to demonstrate the understanding. And then maybe you start talking about making your pitch. There's an intermediate step that a lot of people miss. They're like, all right, so I understand where you're coming from. You feel this, this, and this, but they don't say that out loud. So therefore, I'll tailor my approach to what my understanding is. Now, the critical intervening step is making sure that you got the understanding right. And so my friend Stephen Kotler, brilliant dude, I recommend his training, The Rise of Superman and Stealing Fire, phenomenal books. Everybody should read. Stephen says, empathy is about the transmission of information. Sympathy and compassion are the reaction to the transmission.
Interesting.
So when you have empathy, you got to demonstrate it.